to waste time. No time to waste time. No money, no time, I don't wanna talk. Just give me that cake, you can go and walk. I'm something you ain't seen, living out a dream. Going hard, pulling car, we the new team. You ain't never ever seen it done this big. Never seen 2 drums in a drop 6. Young bump on his job, it's a fan thing. You gotta be blood, wanna be in that game. I see the same thing, ain't nobody new. You get a deal and you flopping and get rid of you. That's why I'm independent, yeah, it's real living. I used to be around losers, now you're both winning. You see how I get in it? First class G and you should polish up your pimpin'. Doing everything that I want like a G. You can get a 16, but that ain't for free. No time, no time to waste.
Hey, you already know what this is. This is Everyday Life with Rook Pheno. And we back. And we know we got the homie in the building, man. We got a great person in the building, man. The Vice Mayor of Martinsville City, Chad Martin, man. Y'all give it up for the homie, man. Believe that. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For sure. You already know.
I did want to say this right quick. The last time we spoke, I was vice mayor, but January, we went ahead and nominated Jennifer Bowles, so I don't want to step on her toes. So she is vice mayor now, but I'm still on city council though.
For sure. Salute to Jennifer Bowles. Yeah. Let me get my mind right in my mouth. Just salute to Jennifer Bowles, but you know, we love to have you back. You came and hollered at us the last time we were in the back of Hugo's. Yeah, I'm gonna take my mask off. We were in the back of Hugo's when you came through and hollered at us, and at the time you were vice mayor. So I guess that's why I'm still stuck on that. You know what I mean?
Getting our wings on.
So yeah, you know, we tried to step it up a little bit, and we have him back here, man. So you know, it's a good thing, man. It's a great thing going on right now. So yeah, we got Chad Martin in the building. The brother stands for his people. Believe that. Let's go.
So what is your job title? What do you actually do?
So as Martinsville City Council, you know, there's a lot of cities that have what is known as a strong mayor city. Martinsville is not one of those.
Okay.
So a strong mayor actually runs the day-to-day. Like a Roanoke and a Richmond, they have strong mayors. So they actually run the day-to-day of the city.
Okay.
We have a city manager ran. So we're policy and we're part-time.
Okay.
And so even if you saw my check, which the very first time I got it, I was like, city council check. City, $400. Is this it? I get cussed up for but no, you know, and it's not really about the money. Half the time we end up spending that money out because like people ask us to come to events or sponsor things. Yeah. So 9 times out of 10, we mostly spend that money back out into the community.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay.
I be seeing you do a lot of things within the community, man. Like you really tapped in on a lot of things, and one of the issues and one of the reasons that we having you here is because we got like a lot of violence going on in our city. You know, and brother spearheaded a sit down with brothers in the community, and you know, a lot of people came out, and it was just one of them things that I don't think we've ever had before.
I was trying to think about that, man.
Yeah,
if ever done this
before. We've never done that before, man. Like I'm from here just as well as Chad. Like we've never went through that. Like it's been a lot of violence going on in our city before, but I just like now I think people are more conscious.
Yeah.
So this brother spearheaded the whole sit down for everybody to come out and talk about, you know, how they feel about what's going on. And I just thought that was a grand situation because, you know, it's all about black empowerment and just seeing, you know, we got to have an outlet, some way to talk and get things off our chest and situations like that. So I want to take my hat off to you for that, for really being somebody that's like a political figure, but still really standing with his people. Like, that's why I got mad respect for you.
Appreciate that, bro. Man, after getting so many calls that Sunday, seeing Tone Capone's, I don't know if y'all seen that. Man, when I saw that, I mean, well, it was some onions in the room. I'll just say that, because I was, he got me caught up when I saw that video. And then when he mentioned my name, I was like, so you know, it really, I said, we have to do something.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, I don't have the answer. I'll be straightforward and tell people I don't have the answer. But if we can come together in a room, maybe we can figure it out together.
Exactly.
And you said something that was real, and I've been thinking about this. So check this out. So you have the thing called the Willy Lynch letter, right?
Yeah.
It talks about separate them by light skin against dark skin, old against young, just finding any differences possible. And it said the key person to break is the black female, because if you break her, she will teach her children how to be broken.
Yeah.
Now think about this. 2019, Willy Lynch said that process would work 200 years. The 1619 celebration was 2019. 400 years since we have first touched down in Fort Monroe, Virginia. Not Jamestown, but Fort Monroe.
Yeah.
Did we ever get counseling?
Never.
Nah.
Never.
Never.
You can't go through 400 years of slavery, them people cutting babies out of women's stomach, hanging guys, cutting off their genitals.
Buck breaking men, raping men, raping women,
taking babies, feeding them to crocodiles, like they did in Florida. You can't do that to a people and we not have some issues within us. Yeah. And so there's this term, people might say, well, Rook Pheno, Chad, y'all never went through slavery, but there's a term called epigenetics, and it says that the stress and trauma is passed through the bloodlines.
It's a generational curse.
Generational curses. And so it's no issue. It's not just because of the things that we eat. Why we have the high blood pressure, why we have heart issues, why we have all of that stuff. Because if you live in an area where you're constantly in stress, you're constantly in survival mode, the cortisol levels are up, the adrenaline is constantly running, it's hard for people to learn in that experience. And then two, it causes those health issues to amplify even more. So, I mean, we need counseling.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
So, that's what we was going to. So, are there programs that are catered for our youth out there and that deals with, like, mental health and PTSD? You know what I'm saying? Because me and Pheno, we've discussed this mental health, and I think our mental health has got better.
Yeah.
Since we started talking about it, like we definitely got attitude issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and
you know what I'm saying, and we'll just explode. But since we've started this podcast, we've been able to
talk. It's like a counselor, a form of therapy.
A form of therapy.
You feel what I'm saying? And I know that you spoke. I mean, go ahead.
No, we
You say is there any programs? I think you say is there any programs? I don't know.
And so that's another reason. What y'all two are doing right now, that's exactly this experience I wanted for those black males, because we've never had that space. Number one, we've never had that space to just talk. We've never had a space to be mad, and it's okay that you're mad. Look at all that you have to deal with in this world. Walking down the street, somebody crosses the street. Going to a store, somebody's following you, not because it's customer service, because they think you're going to steal. So you get in the elevator with somebody and they clench their purse, and it's like, I don't want your money. I got my own money. I don't need it. But as far as programs here, so we have MHC after 3.
Okay.
That goes into the schools. That's after school programs.
Okay.
And then we have Boys and Girls Club, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And luckily, we just got, about a year or two ago, we got the director to get trained in deep listening and radical vulnerability.
Okay.
And so she knows that model, and I'm hoping she's using that with those kids.
Okay.
Because what it does, those guys are empowering each other, just like y'all two are empowering each other. When we sit down and talk, man, and start building and realizing, oh, you dealing with that too? Oh, I ain't alone. Now I can call on you with this issue. And so we do have programs, and then too, a lot of those counselors at Piedmont Community Services and a lot of the after-school programs are trained in youth mental health.
Okay, youth mental health.
And you guys can get trained in that for free.
Okay.
And the suicide hotline, they do those trainings for free as well.
Yeah.
And it's just really about learning how to listen. I'm not listening to respond to you. I'm listening to hear what you're actually saying.
Okay. All right.
And not talking over, and not waiting for you to stop talking so I can then go in, but actually listening to what you're saying.
Definitely, I think that's important. I think that's important too, that you really hear what somebody is saying. When I was at the meeting that we had, that you hosted when we was at the Sportsman, I was super interested. I'm being totally honest with you and transparent. I feel like myself, if we're gonna combat what's going on in our city, we're gonna have to get the youth. young kids. I mean, middle school, high school, because this is where it starts. At, you know what I mean? You know that for yourself. It starts when you're young, but not only the youth, we have to have the mothers on board. We have to have the mothers on board. I don't even think it's a time where we should ever exempt the mothers from anything that's going on when we're talking about prevention or trying to show community action and change. Because shit, 9 times out of 10, Cherie made a good point. That's the last episode we had. Like, the mothers are going to be the ones who are going to be bringing these kids.
And you're so right.
The mothers are the ones who's bringing up these young boys and these young girls. You know what I mean? It's a totally different time we're living in. So it's not just going to start with the older guys and they're talking like, oh man, I just wish in my time we had our pants pulled up. That shit don't matter. Like, we're talking about now. Like what we can do now because we recognize there is a problem. We know that. We can agree on that, right? We all can agree on it. We have a problem. It's a problem going on, but we have to start with the youth and we'll work our way up, and we have to, it's a lot of things we're gonna have to dig in on and say, I'm wrong for this and we're wrong about that, and what is it that we can do. Which brings me to my question for Chad. This is my question for Chad. Is there a way that we can start maybe feeding or talking in the MAC over the community, just like regularly?
Regularly.
Like a regular type. Not all the time. People are busy. You'd be a fool or to sit here and think that somebody can do this all the time. People can't do this all the time, but at least maybe once a week, twice a week.
Once.
Actually, you understand what I'm saying?
And that's a good question. And there's 2 things that I want to jump in on that with. First, I want to say to the mothers, yes, we all do need to come together. Unfortunately, which some people don't get the opportunity, I have to be cognizant and mindful of COVID.
Definitely.
So definitely. If we're having 60 men in there, and then you add another 50 to 100 women, I have just now went over COVID restrictions.
You done broke the restrictions.
And guess what's going to happen? Chad had a nice event, but he broke the rules.
He broke the rules. Let's get him fined. Time to fine.
And so what we're doing for women, and I'll put that blame on me. I didn't put it out there early because I had to act on the fly.
Don't blame. No. I'm not. Don't blame yourself.
To women.
Don't blame yourself for that. Don't. Next time though. You know what I mean? Next time.
So March 6th, we'll be having that women's talk. So I'm working with 2 women facilitators now who are going to be ready by that March 6th date. They're getting the location, the time, everything together, so women can have their own talk. And then, so we're going to have 2 men's talks next Friday. This Friday coming up is the next men's talk from 5 to 7 at Sportsman. And then we're going to have the women's talk. Let them talk 2 times to have their sessions. Then hopefully by that time, COVID is chilled out and we bring everybody in the room together. And then after that conversation, after we have talked, black women, black men have talked, then we ask the larger community as a whole to come in to a space. We have learned how to listen and talk to each other. The women have learned how to listen and talk to each other. We come together, we've learned how to listen and talk to each other. Now it's time to talk to the community at large. And we learn how to listen and talk with everybody else in the community. And, so it is a grand plan out there. I didn't put it out there because number one, people will judge. Now, one thing I did learn from the president of Peace College, she said, and this is why I didn't want to put it out there too far. She said, 3 steps ahead of people, you're a leader. 10 steps ahead of people, you're a target. So I want to make sure that this grand plan doesn't get targeted and somebody can come in, infiltrate, tear it down, because this needs to happen. And we need to, I'm glad you said that, and by the end of that meeting, everybody said, let's do this on a bi-weekly basis.
Definitely.
And just so people will realize this is not a Chad Martin thing, we're making sure, I got 2 guys, and hopefully we can work every guy into being the facilitator of the meetings. That way everybody feels like they're in control of this too. I want this to be a community thing. So I mean,
you got a lot of cats that, because I know that this is like a Martinsville thing,
Mm-hmm.
but like, you know, we brothers. Martinsville, Henry County, like it's the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody, man. Nobody's just excluded. It's not nobody's excluded from anything. Nobody's exempted. Like if you from Henry County, tap in.
Yeah.
Martinsville, everybody like, you know, it ain't no split, ain't no divide and nothing. It's like it's a community-based thing.
We had a city councilman from Danville. He wanted to be in that space, and so hopefully he can come to the next one.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing that bothers me more than anything else, you know, because there's a lot of people that said, Chad, let's do a march. Let's do a march. I was like, man, marches only bring awareness and attention. They don't change things.
It ain't causing no solutions.
No.
That's the key thing. We need solutions. We don't need to just continue. We've been talking forever. You know, we've been talking forever. We need solutions now. We want, and if we can't get solutions, can we work at them?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all we said, together. Exactly.
And what made me mad, which I don't think a lot of people know. So, you look back at the march in '63, Dr. King. The three things they marched for: jobs, justice, and equality. 2013, 50-year anniversary of the March on Washington.
Yeah.
Guess what they marched for? Jobs, justice, and equality.
And equality.
I was on a spiritual high when I went there. I was like, man, I'm taking part of something Dr. King did.
Yeah.
Got back on the bus to come home. On the radio, it said the same African unemployment rate it was in 1963 is the exact same in 2013.
Definitely. We have reached nothing.
And so it's frustrating. And in '68, when Dr. King got killed, there was a White House report. It's called the Kerner Commission. Very powerful quote in there. It said, "There's two Americas: one black, one white, separate and unequal." It was a good report. It told why these things are happening, why the riots are happening. The White House disregarded the whole Kerner Commission. They did not listen to the findings. And so what we're dealing with now, right now in Martinsville, this is not an overnight thing that happened.
No.
This has been a buildup of leaving people out, of not including people. Have you guys ever seen the movie Invisible Man with Kevin Bacon in it?
Hell yeah. That's the old one, not the new one. The old one, Kevin Bacon, when they was in the little facility.
Yeah. So you remember when he first snuck out when he was invisible, and he went and raped a girl, right?
Sure did, yep.
And he came back in, he looked in the mirror and said, "It's amazing what you can do when you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror." Yeah. How long have we felt invisible?
Shit, nigga, all my life.
How long
all my life.
To the larger society, how long have we felt invisible? And so when people say, what's wrong? Because we haven't been looked at for years. There's a powerful quote. You guys have heard it before. It's an African proverb. It says, "It takes a village to raise a child." Right?
Yeah.
Did you see the other part of that quote?
What's that say?
It said, "If you don't show a child love, he will burn the village down to feel its warmth."
All right. To feel his warmth, you better believe it.
Well, you said about the village. It's kind of hard now, you know. Because
so we need to find the village.
Because me and Pheno we had a description a little while back about the village, and that's why I came up. If I went down the street and messed up at Miss Aunt Dez's house,
whoops.
Yeah, Aunt Dez would bust me in the head, and my mama couldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Cause she hey, Miss Karen, I just now bust Rook in the tail down here. He was showing off, and that was real. You know what I'm saying? I don't say we got to get back to that, but we got to get back to communicating. You know what I'm saying, with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, so and so doing this down there. You know, we got to talk to them, let them know. Yeah. You got to let a person know when they wrong. If you don't, they gonna keep on doing wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just a disconnect.
I think that go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I just think it's a disconnect. Yes. You know what I'm saying, from generation to generation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what.
It is. It's a disconnect there, but it's not even about us. See, that's where we all get the shit messed up at, and what we make it about us.
Yeah,
it's not about us. We old now. You know what I mean? We need to get the hell out of the way. But we got the tools to help show direction. You understand what I'm saying? And the younger folks don't have it. I mean, you know, you think about it, man. We didn't have a lot of stuff coming up when I was, even coming up here with. Like I said, we had a Best Burgers when they was in the mall.
Yeah.
We had a Timeout.
Yeah.
And it went away. We kind of messed that up. I'll admit that we messed that up. But I think here, where we're from, there are no outlets. When I come from the county, when I started dating Shannon, her son was in the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest shit ever because it was so many kids standing having fun, doing different activities, and they're with kids and they're with grown-ups. People that care. I didn't come from that. You know what I mean? I'm not used to that. So when I seen that, it's like, this is what you need. The Boys and Girls Club is a prelude to what needs to continue on.
Yeah.
Definitely, man, because like that shows people that you care. I think one of the guys that worked there a long time ago, probably about over 10 years ago, Mr. Harrison. He died now.
Okay.
He used to coordinate like basketball trips for the basketball games. I can't remember his first name.
I think it's Tim. Tim.
Good guy, good dude, man. Long, God bless the dead, man. But good dude, man. But Tacoma used to just always know that dude cared. Like it was genuine.
Yeah.
If we can get that now,
get back to
it. If we can get back to that, you know what I mean? And forget that we don't click generationally. Yeah. Let's just get back to that, showing that we care. That's what we need. We need more big mamas. Yeah. We need more grandpas that stand up. You know what I mean? We need more aunties that's gonna tap in. So that's what it is, man.
There's an African word, Bishop Desmond Tutu really coined it. It's called Ubuntu. I am because you are. So everything that I do reflects on you. Everything you do reflects on me. The Native Americans have this thing called 7 generations. You don't do anything major step unless you're thinking 7 generations from before you and 7 generations from behind you. And so you don't move in a way to disrespect your ancestors, and you don't move in a way that you disrespect your children's children.
Better believe it.
And so we do have to, and we had that as a black community. We had that, and we lost it.
Yeah, we did.
I think we did.
Yeah, because now you try to touch somebody else's kid, they'll kill you. Yeah. Even though that person did something wrong. Yeah.
They get on your ass.
Yeah, they will. Don't touch my child.
Hey, look, I know you got a question for Chad, because I know we're going to end up having to cut this joint short.
I have a question. So what would it take to open a community center here?
I love that.
That's a good question. So number one, it's going to take community buy-in. That means the more yous of the world, the more Phenos and Rooks that are willing to come together and say, let's put our money together. Let's stop talking and let's walk in the walk. Yeah. Find a space, because Tony Jones and another group was actually trying to do it at
Shout out to Tony Jones.
Yeah, they was.
What blew my mind, though, if you was there at City Council, this blew my mind.
I remember that.
So they were presenting, but they couldn't do it there because behind that school, that used to be a garbage dump. And I was like, wait a minute, stop the presentation. This used to be a garbage dump behind, what was the black school?
Damn.
Are y'all serious right now?
Behind Albert Harris?
Behind Albert Harris. That big field was a land dump.
Landfill. Get out of here.
I was like,
I didn't even know that.
You put this right inside the black community?
Yeah.
And right behind the school? Are you serious? That's how much you don't care about us? Yeah. That blew my mind.
It's trying to deter you from getting educated, trying to deter you from going that next level.
It's like you're trash. You're going to have to learn in trash.
And when I talked to Tony about it, he was like, yeah, man, it was nothing to see like rats and stuff running from out of that landfill. And I was like, oh my God. But getting back to that
great question,
community, that question, so we got to find land. We got to find somebody who's going to develop. What does that community building look like?
Yeah.
Who's going to run it? How are we going to continue to fund it? And one thing that's going to happen, so say like if you guys came to city council and said, hey, we want a community center. Probably one of the first things people are going to say is, well, we have the YMCA. And so you're repeating what somebody else is already doing. Now, can everybody afford to go to the YMCA? No. I've been going ever since where it was right beside the middle school, the junior high.
I remember when it was right
then
there.
They turned it into the center.
Yeah.
And then it was no more. So I've been going a while ever since I was small.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they would just drop us off to the summertime. And that's all we did. So it does take a community effort to get that done. It's not as simple as, hey, city council, we want a community center, and it just happens because number one, you got to find the money. You got to find out who's going to run it, who's going to find grants to keep it sustained. Is this going to be a situation to where it's a donation that is given for membership? You know, is this a situation to where you can work there to pay for your membership? You know, volunteer to clean up and stuff like that. Now, one cool thing, because I don't want to deter you. Now, if you got a group together, and I'm serious about working on this, they just gave us the Armory.
That would be a great place.
That has cooking space in there.
Yes.
Commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
It has big enough space to do events.
Yep.
They got a gym.
Office space.
It is
gym.
a gym. It's community action there. That's what I call it. That's what I think. That could be a place for where you, hey,
community in action.
Yeah, community in action. Believe that, man.
Now, one of the things that I will say that if you were to come to city council and say, hey, we as a group want this space, they're going to want to see a business plan.
Yeah.
They're going to want to see, okay, what kind of programming are you going to do there? Are you partnering with anybody to make sure you got other people helping with the finances? You know, if you got that kitchen, which would be amazing because you can teach kids now how to cook.
Culinary.
Culinary arts.
Culinary arts.
I mean, that space could be an amazing place for a community center, and they've given that. And the city's trying to figure out, all right, so, you know, who's going to get this space? What are they going to use it for? But that would be it's parking. Yeah. It's right there. It's walkable for a lot of people. The bus goes right by it. The city bus goes right by it.
So we got a city bus?
Yeah. City and county bus. It's that park bus.
Okay, but this one,
the park.
Okay.
I think we need one to go all the way to the county.
We do.
We got one to go all the way down?
It goes through Bassett. It goes to Patrick Henry Community College. Yeah. It's three of them, and they have a route that they all kind of meet up at Walmart, and then they go throughout the city. They go to Bassett, and then they go to like PH and College and stuff.
Wait a minute, but do they go all the way down to Axton? Longtown.
It doesn't go that far.
That's what I'm talking about. We need one to go all the way down there, go all the way to Leatherwood.
Them young brothers matter too.
Yes, sir. All the way to Ridgeway.
Sisters matter too.
All that Lee Camp Ford Road. You know what I'm saying?
We, you know, for us community, for the people in that community, like, you know, if we get this going, we should try to be able to make sure that this can happen.
I think that'd be a good plan.
If they already got it set up, we probably have to go through hell and high water to get a parts bus to come all the way through Ridgeway, Morgan Ford Road. You feel what I'm saying?
If you show
a bus route,
Irisburg.
So here's how you fight back. Here's how you speak to the county board about that. You go door to door, find out how many people that would actually utilize that.
Yeah.
You have those numbers, and you say, hey, county, we would like for this route to go through this area.
Yep.
They're going to come back and say, well, we don't know if it's going to be used. It's funny you should ask that, because we actually went door to door and we have the numbers of people that said they would
we had to have a signature from them?
So you already you can do that.
Okay.
So you already have in place when people start, because when I get really frustrated, I get quiet and I start asking myself questions, because I start thinking, if I say this, what could somebody say to this? If I say this, what could somebody... And I ask myself usually about 100 questions before I come out with what I'm actually going to say. Because people will try to get you. They will try to get you to say something, and you're out there, and you're like, ugh. Now I got to back up from what I said.
Okay.
So, like, when you go to city meetings like that, sit down and think, all right, what's a way that they can say no? So I can have a comeback to say yes.
Yeah.
So if the county says, okay, we just don't think a lot of people will use it. Glad you asked that, because we went door to door, and this is how many people said
they want to do that. Yeah, there you go.
Now you're showing a need.
Yeah.
So now, after that need, now you're demanding
Yep.
a demand.
There you go.
And so power only, Frederick Douglass said, power only concedes to a demand. And so you're not going to be disrespectful, but you're saying, this is our tax dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how many people use this.
Yeah.
And we want this route also. And so it's not being disrespectful. It's just being on top of your stuff, being on top of your game, and figuring out, okay, how would they say no, and how can I come back with a yes to that no? Yeah. So the community center would be beautiful, and that building is perfect, prime location right there. Yeah.
We got to do some more research on that, man. But we ain't gonna hold Chad too much longer, bro. Bro got stuff to do.
Yeah.
He got a lot of stuff to do.
No, we got all the questions. We got all the
questions.
But do you want to announce when the meetings is again?
Yeah.
Shoot it out there.
So this Friday coming up, the 26th, we'll be at Sportsman from 5 to 7. Come with your thinking caps on. Come with ready to be open. This week, I'll go ahead and give a little bit of what we'll be talking about. So there's a thing called the ACEs survey. It's the Adverse Childhood Experience Survey. It's about 12 questions, and it really deals with what we have dealt with traumatic experiences as a child. And so it really delves into that. And so those numbers speak to, if you hit 4 on that list, you're more likely to have tried cigarette smoking early, tried marijuana, drinking, premarital sex.
No.
You hit 6 on those questions, you've had suicide ideation, you're more likely to have cancer later on in life. You have tried alcohol and drugs. 8 on there, you have tried suicide, you've probably been in jail already, and you will have cancer later on in life. So when I was doing reentry for Danville, Pennsylvania County prisons, everybody in that prison scored 8 or more on that test. And so that test really speaks to, there's a lot of traumatic issues that we have not dealt with, and that we need to come together and figure out how we need counseling, come together and figure out how we can work these issues out within ourselves. Because we can be our own counselors. We can do that.
That's my counselor. Yeah. Like, no lie, Chad. The last time Chad was here too, though, man, Chad was like, yo, it was a police officer that just killed a young black man. Like, Chad was like,
I was crying, man.
Yeah, he was crying on
y'all,
like real tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, this is the person that, to me, is a person who does care. He's in a situation where, he can see things happen. So he's a go-to for us to ask questions about what we can do and things that we can do for change. So that's what it is, man.
I'm sorry, I have one. What was the name of that test you said again?
It's the ACEs survey. ACES. ACEs survey. Some of it says ACEs test. But then so after you take that ACEs survey, you want to get into the resiliency test. And so that resiliency test speaks to combating what's happened to you as a child. Now, prime example, if you were to give this to your child, you make sure you're there to be with your child. Even in that space, I have to make sure when I give that to the guys, we have some trained people for counseling, because it's going to touch on some things. Looking at the numbers, looking at statistics, so we have 60 men in there. Looking at statistics, I would probably say at least 3 men in that space had been sexually abused.
Damn.
Just looking at statistics.
Damn.
60 of those men have probably dealt with their aunts or uncles going to jail. 60 of those men, somebody in their life did not have a father figure, did not have did not have positive role models in their life. Just looking at numbers, not knowing if that's the case, but just looking at the numbers and how statistics are. The craziest thing I heard for women, and it really speaks to childhood, and this is why I want to do it for the women too. Talk to OBGYN. She said, Chad, you would not realize at least 2 to 3 times a week women have come in and reported being raped.
Lord Jesus.
I said, hold up.
In 2021?
Well, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I said, you mean a month, right? She said, no. 2 to 3 times a week she gets a reported rape. And she said, that's the ones that report it. That's not talking about the ones that don't report.
Yeah.
So I don't know what in the world is going on in this area, but we do need some help. And we need to say, you know what, let's lock arms and say, we're going to get through this together.
I'm going to say we need to bring the churches in. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. We all can't do it by ourselves. You got a lot of big churches out here, big chapels, big nice parking lots, nice columns in front of the church. Y'all got plenty of money. Hey, your community needs you.
You know, we got about 200, 300 churches in the area. I've said this a few times. I'll get myself in hot order again by saying it.
Nah, say it. It's the truth. It need to be said.
It need to be said.
If they took one tithe and offering a year from every church, you got to think about how many churches. We have about 200, 300 churches. You take one tithe and offering one time each year, that would be a fund enough to cover every child going to college.
Ooh.
Every child will be taken care of going to college.
It need to be done.
And it's like, why not? You know, one reverend asked a really serious question. He was like, Chad, think about this. Why aren't there community gardens at every church? Why aren't people feeding? Why isn't every church having like a community garden or these tower gardens that you can grow inside the church? Like, you're talking about, because the scripture said, and people always bring this up around tithe and offering. It's in Micah. It said, bring all the tithes in my storehouse so there might be meat. Now, what do you need meat for? You need meat to eat.
Yeah.
The Levite tribe did not leave the temple. And so that's why they brought in grain and stuff, because the Levite tribe didn't go outside of the temple.
So they ate that.
They ate that.
They ate that.
And so what we need now, if you're going to bring something in the storehouse, that's to feed the people.
Yeah, right. You say it again, Chad.
So it should be one reciprocal thing that is just feeding each other on top of each other. There should be jobs within inside the church. There should be, why isn't there a culinary ministry in the church? The stuff that we eat, we still eat with a slave tongue, y'all. Like chitlins and stuff like that. We ate that on the plantation because we didn't waste, and you didn't have much food to waste.
Shit we call hush puppies.
So the stuff that we eat now, we're still eating like we're on the plantation, and it's not good for us at all.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying I eat everything healthy, so don't.
Oh, shit, we all give that a chance.
Yeah.
Shit, you black, ain't you? We all get there, man.
But we can do better. We can do so much better.
We got to.
We got to. And the health issues that we're dealing with, some of that is very preventable.
It is.
Only
thing we ever had offered to us around here is grease. Grease, man.
And guess what? So you just spoke to a need.
All right, I shouldn't have did it because we already had something. Yes, it's the truth though.
Healthy food.
We need healthy food, man.
Healthy food.
We need a vegan. We need some vegan shit going on.
Vegan.
We need some smoothies going on.
And we got the smoothie for.
Yeah, we know we can do smoothies.
And guess
Smoothie King right there.
And guess what? And guess what? I was on the state commission for the grant to give to African Americans for either a restaurant, a co-op, a grocery store, or a food truck. They will give you $50,000 to $60,000 with that grant if you want to create that. And it says it has to be 50% owned by African Americans.
Okay. Hey, brother. Hey, so. You see what's going on?
You see what's going on. What's the grant called?
It's the Local Food Access Grant. And so it really speaks to making sure that people have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So if you had like a smoothie truck that gave out vegetables, and guess what? You can get on the EBT card system and people can actually use the EBT card
to get the damn smooth because it's cold.
You got that straight?
It's a cold thing.
Okay.
Guess what else? Guess what else?
Okay, I got you.
Look, guess what else? If you guys had a nonprofit, let's say you created Pheno and Rook nonprofit, you can get free houses with Wells Fargo. It's called Wells Fargo CUS program, Community Urban Stabilization Program. They will give you free houses and $10,000 to renovate the house. Not just one. Just as long as you're not flipping them, they will give you as many as you want.
That's crazy.
So a faith-based or nonprofit, they will give you free houses and $10,000 to renovate those houses. And just as long as you're not flipping them, you can use them for office. You can use them to create low-income home ownership. Just as long as you're not flipping them, they will give you as many houses as you can handle.
That's crazy.
Free.
Come on, man. Chad hit you with the info. He hit you with some facts. We didn't ask him everything we wanted to ask him. Rook, is there anything else you want to ask him?
No, I'm good. What I just read.
That's what it is.
Feel free.
Go ahead. Come on. Go ahead.
Free floor. Yeah, I love questions.
Would you like to be a regular member on our show?
Yeah, I would love to.
I think you bring so much, to us, and it's a lot of things we don't know, and we have no idea. And I constantly check your page to see, what is going on.
Yeah.
And if you can come, if not every week, once a month.
I would love to. Because I'm starting to realize.
Tap in.
I'm thinking a lot of this stuff is common knowledge. And it's not. When I just talked about this one place, how they got their money from the selling of a public institution, and they took that public money and turned it into private. And because I was wondering, why is nobody standing up frustrated about this? And talking to two gentlemen the other day, they was like, "Shit, nobody knows." I was like, "Oh, I thought this was common knowledge." Oh,
a lot of cats gotta want to do this shit too, though, Chad.
Yeah.
This is not nothing that you can just. It's gotta be in you,
right?
Not on you. We can talk about this all day, but if it ain't in you, it ain't in you. You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to see something shake for your people, and that's why we got you here. We know that you care. This ain't no fakeness going on with right here. We just want to get Chad on here because he got a position. No, man, bro, really care, and he's smart as hell.
How can I get more people? And this show is one of. How can I get more people to come? Well, not now because of COVID, but get more people involved. Because guess what? 3 more years, unless God makes me, I'm not going to be on city council anymore.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was kind of fun. It's kind of nerve-wracking. Go out with somebody. A guy cussed me out. When I had ex-girlfriend, when we were together, he cusses me out right in front of her, and I'm like, it's only going to be so many more times.
Then I'm just going to take this.
Don't let this little title. And he kept saying stuff, and, the bartender had to come around and say, Chad, chill. It's like, hey, don't think. I will pause for a second. You keep going. Because he got to the point where he was like, if you was on fire, I wouldn't even piss on you.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, man, can we just talk about it? And then, I'm sitting there looking at my girl. Something weird is going on. Yeah. No.
Try me in front of my lady.
Yeah, hold up now. Yeah. By myself, I've been like, whatever. But in front of her, I'm like, hey, bro.
Poke my chest out.
It ain't gonna be too many more times.
Who you talking
to? Yeah. So, again, going back to that, getting paid $400 and you get cussed out. They talk like a dog to me when I told everybody, please put on your mask. Churches, put on your mask when I went on the BTW interview. And I look, and some people was in agreement, but some people are like, man, this guy's a crackhead. This dude is crazy. I'm like, all right, my mom's a nurse. So when it hits here and those numbers start jumping, I tried to tell y'all, stop meeting in churches, stop doing certain things. All right. I tried to tell you. I can only warn you.
Common sense is not so common.
Yeah.
All the time, man. So, you got to chalk that up with people like that, man. So, it is what it is.
But, yeah, I do want somebody to come get this spot before, and we need somebody that's good. I would love to help somebody, mentor them in that position.
I'm a community activist. I can't get on there. They ain't going to act right with me. They ain't going to let me on there. Pheno try to go on there, try to do something. He said, no. But, You know, I feel like you doing your job, man. You're doing something on behalf of your people. So, you know, you just go with the flow, bro.
Right.
Go with the flow. You know, you the people that really know what you got going on, know what you stand for. We're gonna keep standing with you.
That's right.
So you know what I mean? You just keep doing the service for your people. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And that's where we at, and that's where we gonna sign off at, man. We got Chad Martin in the building, OG Rook in the building,
that's
we
right.
got Ree in the building, and me, Pheno the G, man. You already know we coming. This is Everyday Life with Rook and
Pheno.
Let's go.